Today I'm going to teach you how to get huge guitar in your metal mix, or deathcore, or hardcore, or post-hardcore, or anything that uses a tuning lower than drop D. But this hypothetically would work with drop D. I'm going to get right into my techniques, and then I'll give you some tips for more specific things after that. If you are new to metal mixing, this is where we start here. So when you record guitars, you don't just record one single track and have it in the center. You have to record two separate tracks and pan them hard left and hard right. And just by itself, it's going to sound something like this. It sounds okay, but we can do a lot more with this. To start, we are going to create, well, first of all, if you're recording and mixing, I highly suggest all of your grouped instruments are in their own isolated bus right here. So submix 1 is just my guitar. So that's the good place to start for side chaining purposes, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, first thing we're gonna do, you can just copy and paste your guitar submix and then have a second one here. And then for this one, what we're going to do is pan these about 75-ish, and they're a lot quieter, as you can hear right now. So that's a lot quieter. And I also took some of this out in the EQ, just because that frequency range would build up and it would sound super harsh and not good. So just took a little bit of that out, and you can hear the difference. I'm going to go from the regular 2 tracks to the added quad track. If you couldn't really hear a difference, I'll play it again, but I'll turn it off and on so you can hear it better. It's not super noticeable if you're like listening for it, but you can definitely feel the difference in how wide it sounds and just the overall tone. Another thing I would recommend doing for quad tracking is using a different amp sim altogether, or just a different tone if you only have one amp sim, or just change your amp head if you're doing this with actual gear. I didn't do that for this one, but I'll show you what it sounds like if you were to do that. For this demonstration, I'll be using the Fenrir Mini. Again, this is the regular track. And then we're going to put the second amp on it. I'll do the quick A/B test again. So you can really hear the difference that it makes. Also, you don't need to have them at 75% pan. You can do them full 100 if you wanted to, or even closer, but I feel like 75 is a good middle spot for them to be. I can show you what it would sound like to be further or closer. All right, and now gonna do it in a mix. I think 75 is good because you don't want it to be too close, because all of your kick and snare and bass are going to be in the center. all in the center. So you don't want to crowd it too much because it'll just make it muddy and it won't sound very good. And I feel like having them quad tracked super far apart makes it sound a little bit hollow. Despite what all of the EQ carving lunatics say, you actually want all of your sound frequencies to bounce around each other. You don't want there to be a slice out of everything so that everything fits like a puzzle, because that's not what we're doing here. We want everything to sound together and cohesive. Speaking of bass, that's what we're going to move on to right now. This is our bass track. Sounds pretty good. Sorry, but the bass is actually the most important part of the mix. That's what pulls everything together and gives it actual body. If you don't believe me, go listen to Injustice for All by Metallica. So yeah, let's just hear what it sounds like without bass. Yeah, awful. You thought it sounded good for a second? That's because I have this bass drop right here, bro. We'll talk about that in a different video. But bass is the most essential part. If your bass is bad, your song isn't going to sound good. But, I mean, if any part of your song is bad, it's not going to sound good. But, like, most of the time you can salvage something from everything else. But if your bass is unsalvageable, it's not going to work out. Bass is, for the most part, made up of two components. You can see right here, bass dis and bass clean. This is bass distortion. I didn't have enough room to write the whole thing. So that's what this sounds like. Sorry, I sang it. All right, and then here is our clean. Clean. It's more clean than this one. This one has an amp sim running on top of it, so that's how I got that tone. But this one is just our bass amp. You should use this. It's free. It's really good, actually. It works for everything. Also, I should probably add, these aren't different takes. These are just straight copy and pasted, which is fine. I know I said don't do that before. This is fine because it's right in the center of the mix. It's not on the left and the right, so it's not going to sound weird or bad. For your distortion tone, if you are going to have a split, so you have top and bottom, what you're going to do is pretty much cut out everything below, like, right here-ish. I don't know what I'm saying, bro. I know all of these EQ curves look insane, but it works. So you can see all of these are equating to removing the sub, and also on here we have the low, lower, and the high up, and the present up. You want to remove all of that bass and a little bit of that middle, because that's where your guitar goes. We have our low, super low, all the highs up. And then for your clean, you're going to do almost the exact opposite, except you're going to keep and maybe boost a little bit right here, because that's where the slap of the bass is going to come from. You hear that higher frequency? That's what we need from our clean track. And those together sound like this again. If I was in a higher tuning, it would be a little bit easier to hear exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, that right there. That's what you need from your bass track. Now the scary part, the last thing we're going to talk about is side chaining. I was afraid of side chaining for a long time because I didn't know what that even meant and I didn't know how to do it or what effect it had, but now it's necessary. It's actually really simple. So first we're going to talk about side chaining our kick to our bass here and here. On your submix, if you have both of them in one folder, or if it's a combined one, that's fine. You're just going to put a compressor on your bass track. You're going to click sidechain, and you're going to click, which one? Which is it? Kick. Now we're going to listen to what that sounds like. It's a little bit aggressive, so we're going to back this off just a little bit. So essentially all we are trying to do is make it so that there isn't so much frequency buildup in the low end by slightly ducking our bass whenever our kick hits so that it keeps the level consistent. And then we're going to do the exact same thing to our guitars. On our compressor here on our guitar bus, we're going to set it to ideally your snare, but I have my snare and my kick on the same thing, but it still works the same way. All right, sounds pretty good. Now let's listen to everything put together. You don't get the breakdown. I won't let you have it because this is an unreleased song from Oathgiver's new album. Get ready for that. We are shooting for October 17th. If it's later, I'm so sorry, I was busy. And now for just some other tips about more specific things about what we talked about here today. When you are quad tracking guitars, I would recommend not playing the exact same thing that is on your regular track. As you can see here, this is different from this. There's this pinch harmonic here, and then on this one I didn't do that, and you can hear the difference in the width. It just feels super wide. I don't know why I said that I had tips, but there was only one really. But, you know. Okay, that's how you get huge guitars. Also, buy the merch. Respect women. Link in description. Also, I'm wearing the shorts that I sell, but I'm not going to show you those. Thank you for watching. We got a bunch of new stuff coming soon, so stay tuned. Also, I got banned on Instagram for literally no reason. There's going to be a whole other video about that coming out soon. That's where I hold my daily crash outs, so I can't do that anymore, so it's going to have to happen here. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye. See you soon, hopefully.